Ever stop to think who's really calling the shots in 2025? Spoiler, it's not just the faces you see on the news or the flashy names trending on social media. Behind every global conflict, sudden stock market crash, or tech revolution, there's often a powerful nation quietly pulling the strings. But who are they? Which countries truly dominate, whether through military muscle, economic clout, cutting-edge technology, or sheer behind-the-scenes influence? In this video, we're breaking down the top 10 most powerful countries shaping our world right now. And trust me, some of the facts, stats, and hidden truths will seriously surprise you. So hit that like button, stick around, and don't blink, because what you're about to learn could totally shift the way you see the world. Kicking off our list at number 10 is Japan, a country that doesn't flex with missiles or threats. It leads with brains, tech, and culture. In 2025, Japan boasts a massive $4.5 trillion GDP, making it Asia's third largest economy, and one of the most influential worldwide. But here's where Japan truly shines: innovation. It's the global trailblazer in robotics, microchips, and futuristic transport. You've heard the names: Sony, Toyota, Panasonic, Mitsubishi. These aren't just brands, they're tech empires that shape the world. Japan actually produces 30% of all advanced robotics globally. And let's not forget the iconic Shinkansen bullet trains, still unmatched when it comes to speed, safety, and efficiency. Tokyo isn't just the capital, it's a financial powerhouse. Its stock exchange is the busiest in the world after New York, moving billions and influencing Asia's entire financial pulse. Now, despite its pacifist constitution, Japan's military presence in 2025 is no joke. With a $67 billion defense budget, its self-defense forces are now equipped with elite missile interceptors, cutting-edge submarines, and space-based tracking tech. And thanks to recent policy shifts, Japan is slowly, but surely, stepping into a stronger defense role. Geopolitically, Japan is a key player in the Quad alliance, teaming up with the US, India, and Australia to counterbalance China's rise. And while it doesn't hold nuclear weapons, its infrastructure is nuclear-ready, and its alliance with the US gives it serious global weight. But here's the real secret weapon: soft power. From anime and manga to sushi and samurai, Japanese culture is everywhere. Millions around the world, especially the youth, are influenced by its creativity and way of life. In 2025, Japan's control isn't loud or aggressive, it's quiet, strategic, and absolutely everywhere. At number 9 is China, whose rise in 2025 hasn't just continued, it's accelerated. With a staggering $21 trillion GDP, China stands firm as the world's second-largest economy, and it doesn't stop there. China now produces over 30% of the world's manufactured goods, making it the planet's ultimate factory. But production is just the beginning. Through the massive Belt and Road Initiative, China has built a web of trade routes that now involve more than 140 countries, stretching its economic and strategic reach deep into Asia, Africa, and Europe. Militarily, China is flexing harder than ever. With a defense budget topping $290 billion, it's second only to the US, and the People's Liberation Army now boasts over 2 million active personnel. China's not just strengthening its army, it's rapidly advancing in AI, hypersonic weapons, cyber warfare, and even space-based militarization. But here's where China plays the long game: technology and digital control. Home to tech giants like Huawei, Alibaba, and Tencent, China is expanding its influence across global telecom networks and e-commerce platforms, especially in Africa and South America. It's not just selling goods, it's building digital ecosystems. In exchange for funding ports, hospitals, railways, and infrastructure, China gains not just access to resources, but deep political and economic leverage in partner countries. And now? It's rolling out its own digital currency, a direct challenge to the dominance of the US dollar in global trade. China's influence in 2025 is unmatched in scale and subtlety. Through economic dominance, digital expansion, and quiet diplomacy, China isn't just participating in the global game, it's rewriting the rules. And the most striking part? It's doing it all without firing a single bullet. Coming in at number 8, Israel. Now, don't let its size fool you. This small nation of just 9.7 million people is a giant when it comes to global influence in 2025. With a GDP hitting around $610 billion, Israel is proof that brainpower beats brawn. Nicknamed the Startup Nation, it leads the world in startups per capita, and Tel Aviv? It's basically one of the planet's hottest tech hubs. From cutting-edge cybersecurity and AI to groundbreaking medical devices and agricultural tech, Israeli innovations are being used by top governments and major companies worldwide. On the defense front, Israel spends around $28 billion and boasts some of the most advanced systems on Earth. Think the Iron Dome, David's Sling, and elite cyber units like the legendary Unit 8200. And here's something most countries won't admit out loud: Israel is widely believed to hold over 90 nuclear warheads, although they stay purposefully vague about it. Diplomatically, they're not just surviving, they're thriving. Thanks to the Abraham Accords, Israel's built new alliances with Arab nations, all while deepening ties with the US, and growing partnerships with India and Europe. Despite the ongoing regional tensions, Israel is playing a high-stakes game of global chess, shaping tech, defense, and diplomacy far beyond its borders. In 2025, it's not about size, it's about smarts, strategy, and sheer innovation. At number 7, we have the United Kingdom, still proving in 2025 that you don't need to be the biggest to be one of the most powerful. With a GDP of $3.7 trillion, the UK holds its spot as one of the world's top 6 economies. And London? It continues to reign as a global financial titan, processing over $3 trillion in forex trades every single day and hosting more than 250 foreign banks. That's serious economic muscle. But the UK's real power goes far beyond just money. It's one of the sharpest minds in global intelligence. As part of the elite Five Eyes alliance, alongside the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, the UK monitors worldwide cyber threats, terrorist activity, and sensitive communications. Its agencies, MI5 and MI6, are legendary in the world of espionage and still shape global geopolitics from behind the scenes. On the military front, the UK isn't holding back. In 2025, it's spending $72 billion annually, operates 2 active aircraft carriers, runs a fleet of nuclear submarines, and holds about 225 nuclear warheads. And with its permanent seat on the UN Security Council, it holds that powerful veto card in global decision-making. Diplomatically, the UK leverages its deep-rooted Commonwealth connections, staying influential in 56 countries across Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. And through institutions like the BBC and its world-class universities, Britain continues to shape minds, media, and culture around the globe. Think Brexit weakened the UK? Think again. It didn't shrink its power, it repositioned it. Now free to strike its own trade deals, the UK remains tightly connected with both the US and Europe on defense and security. In 2025, Britain isn't ruling with brute force, it's leading through networks, knowledge, and negotiation. And that's just as powerful. At number 6, we've got Saudi Arabia, a nation that doesn't need to raise its voice to control the world. In 2025, its influence flows through three unstoppable forces: energy, religion, and money. With a staggering GDP of $1.3 trillion and holding around 16% of the planet's proven oil reserves, the kingdom is basically the heartbeat of the global energy market. Producing 10 million barrels of oil every single day, Saudi Arabia has the power to either skyrocket or crash economies, literally overnight. But it doesn't stop there. The country's sovereign wealth fund now tops $900 billion, and it's been busy buying stakes in the future, investing in global tech, tourism, and sports. We're talking partnerships with giants like Google, Tesla, and even the PGA. Militarily, they spend over $85 billion a year, making them one of the biggest defense spenders per person on Earth. What makes them even more powerful? Their diplomatic balancing act. While still tied closely to the US. For defense, Saudi Arabia is also tightening bonds with China and Russia, carefully positioning itself at the crossroads of global power. And then there's Vision 2030, their ambitious plan to reshape the kingdom's identity. It includes bold mega-projects like NEOM, a $500 billion futuristic megacity aiming to rival the world's top hubs. Let's not forget their religious influence. Saudi Arabia is home to Mecca and Medina, the holiest sites in Islam, giving it spiritual authority over 1.9 billion Muslims. Add to that a media empire that quietly reaches into Africa, Asia, and the West, shaping thoughts, ideologies, and policies. Saudi Arabia doesn't need to conquer the world, it just funds, fuels, and influences it, from the shadows. Number 5, France. And no, it's not just about wine, romance, and the Eiffel Tower. In 2025, France is a serious global heavyweight, with muscle in the military, nukes, culture, and diplomacy. Its economy is no slouch either, pulling in a solid $3.3 trillion GDP, putting it comfortably among the world's top 10. France also happens to be the most visited country on Earth, welcoming over 85 million tourists a year. That tourism surge isn't just good for business, it massively boosts its soft power on the global stage. But here's what sets France apart: it's the only EU nation with nuclear weapons. With around 290 warheads and a complete nuclear triad, land, air, and sea, France has serious deterrence capabilities. Its military budget has now reached $64 billion, with active operations stretching from Africa's Sahel region to the Indo-Pacific, plus a major role in cyber defense across Europe. Diplomatically, France punches above its weight. As a permanent member of the UN Security Council and a key player in NATO, the EU, and the G7, France is always at the table where big global decisions are made, especially around climate change and peacekeeping. Then there's defense tech. Dassault Aviation's Rafale fighter jets, designed in France, are now flying in countries like India and Egypt, cementing its global arms influence. And culturally? France is still a powerhouse. French remains the second most studied language worldwide. Paris continues to reign as a capital of fashion, art, and luxury. And through the Francophonie network, France maintains strong political, cultural, and legal ties with over 80 nations. In 2025, France stands tall, not just with elegance and flair, but with real global power in its pocket. ****. Number 4, Russia. It might not have the economic size of the US or China, but make no mistake, in 2025, Russia controls the game through fear, force, and fuel. With a GDP of around $1.8 trillion, it's not topping financial charts, Yet its global influence is massive and often felt in the shadows. Why? One word: nukes. Russia holds the largest nuclear arsenal on the planet, nearly 6,000 warheads, enough to alter the course of history in minutes. That alone gives it undeniable power. But there's more. Despite facing heavy sanctions, Russia still controls 25% of the world's natural gas reserves and ranks among the top 3 oil exporters. In Europe, especially during winter, energy dependency on Russia is still very real. That grip on gas is leverage, and Moscow knows how to use it. Its military budget in 2025 is up to $109 billion, and after years of conflict, its war machine has evolved. Cyber warfare, drone swarms, and AI-powered defense systems are now part of its arsenal. But Russia doesn't always fight with tanks. Through shadow networks like the Wagner Group, it influences battles and governments in places like Africa, Syria, Venezuela, and Central Asia, without ever flying a flag. Let's not forget, Russia sits at the table of global power with a UN Security Council seat and veto, which it regularly uses to stall, block, or reshape international action. But perhaps its most dangerous weapon? Disinformation. From hacking government servers to manipulating elections, social unrest, and public opinion through state-backed troll farms, Russia has mastered the art of divide and conquer, not with bullets, but with narratives. In 2025, Russia doesn't try to win hearts, it doesn't need to. Its strategy is simple: be feared, be unpredictable, and stay unavoidable. Number 3, Germany. Often called the engine of Europe, and in 2025, it's still running the continent with precision, efficiency, and quiet strength. With a GDP of $5.4 trillion, Germany isn't just Europe's biggest economy, it's also the third largest exporter in the world. What powers that success? High-tech machinery, elite engineering, and world-renowned brands like Volkswagen, Siemens, BMW, and Bosch, names that define quality and dominate global markets. But Germany's influence goes beyond factories and exports. It's leading the green revolution, generating over 50% of its electricity from clean energy sources and exporting its renewable tech across the globe. Now, while Germany doesn't possess nuclear weapons, don't mistake that for weakness. Its political and economic sway inside organizations like NATO, the EU, and the G7 is enormous. In fact, Germany funds more than 20% of the EU's budget, giving it major leverage in shaping policy in Brussels. Its military spending has also surged to $78 billion in 2025, with investments in cutting-edge cyber defense units and AI-driven surveillance systems, a clear sign that Germany is modernizing its defense strategy. But where Germany really shines is diplomacy. Whether it's negotiating peace, financing global climate projects, or leading the charge on digital privacy rights across Europe, Germany is often the voice of reason in global chaos. Let's not forget, Berlin houses the European Central Bank, giving Germany serious influence over the Eurozone's financial heartbeat. So while it may not wave the biggest military flag, Germany rules with brainpower, engineering excellence, and strategic diplomacy. In 2025, it remains the calm, steady hand steering Europe's future, stable, smart, and always one step ahead. At number 2, we have India, a rising giant that's not just making headlines, it's making history. With over 1.4 billion people, India stands tall as the world's largest democracy and now ranks as the 5th largest economy, hitting a $4.2 trillion GDP in 2025. But let's be real, that's just scratching the surface. India quietly powers the world in more ways than you might think. It controls a staggering 60% of global vaccine production, dominates the supply of generic medicines, and continues to lead the global IT outsourcing market. With over 900 million internet users, India has become a digital force to be reckoned with. Thanks to the Digital India Initiative, rural villages and major cities alike are becoming digitally empowered. And companies like Tata, Infosys, and Wipro are expanding their reach far beyond the subcontinent, cementing India's role in shaping tomorrow's tech world. And then there's space. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, has launched satellites for more than 40 countries, and now it's chasing new frontiers with ambitious manned missions to the Moon and Mars. Yep, India's going interplanetary. Militarily, India means business. It has the third largest army in the world and a defense budget of $88 billion in 2025. It holds more than 160 nuclear warheads, with a fully developed nuclear triad to ensure deterrence, especially in the Indo-Pacific, where tensions run high. And speaking of power plays, India is a crucial member of the Quad Alliance, standing shoulder to shoulder with the US, Japan, and Australia to counterbalance China's regional dominance. From technology to pharmaceuticals, democracy to defense, India is no longer just a rising power, it's stepping into a leadership role on the world stage. In 2025, India isn't catching up, it's setting the pace. Number 1, the United States. So, why does the US still hold the crown as the most powerful country on Earth in 2025? Because it's not just a nation, it's an empire with a global reach. With a staggering $877 billion military budget, America operates more than 750 military bases in over 80 countries, giving it unmatched presence around the world. Economically, the US is in a league of its own with a $28 trillion GDP, still dominating global finance thanks to heavyweights like the IMF and World Bank, which often play by Washington's rules. And let's not forget, the US dollar continues to reign supreme as the global reserve currency, involved in a jaw-dropping 88% of all foreign exchange transactions. But here's the twist, it's not just about firepower or finances. The real power? It's digital. Tech giants like Apple, Google, Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon don't just build apps, they shape how the entire world works, shops, learns, and communicates. And guess what? Whether you're binge-watching on Netflix, scrolling through Instagram, or using iOS or Android, you're plugged into America's cultural and tech ecosystem every single day. On the diplomatic front, the US holds veto power at the UN, leads alliances like NATO and the G7, and has a voice that echoes in nearly every global decision. From Wall Street to Hollywood, from your smartphone to international politics, the US is still the central nervous system of the modern world. And that's why, love it or hate it, America is number 1.